Hey, my name is Andrew Lafon. I'm an engineer at Lenoir Fire Department, and I drive Engine 2. And today I'm going to read you out of one of my favorite books, the story of David. David is chosen as the new king. God told Samuel to go home of a man called Jesse who lived in Bethlehem. God had chosen one of Jesse's sons to become the next king. When Samuel arrived at Jesse's home, all the sons came in to share a meal. Samuel spoke to each son in turn. Each time he thought, surely this must be the chosen one. Each time God said no. It is not important what a person looks like. What matters is what they are like inside. One by one, God rejected the 7 sons in front of Samuel. Samuel was puzzled, but he asked Jesse if he had any more sons. Yes, Jesse said. There is the youngest, David. He is out in the fields looking after the sheep. Samuel asked Jesse to send for David. As soon as the boy walked in, God said to Samuel, "This is the chosen one." Samuel poured oil on David's head to show that God had chosen him to be king. After Samuel had gone, David continued to look after his father's sheep. Wild animals often attacked the flock. David learned to be skillful with a sling to scare away hungry bears and lions. God loved David and was always with him. David was good at other things too. He loved music and singing, and he played the harp beautifully. News of his skills spread far across the land. Meanwhile, Saul was becoming more and more distant from God. He had terrible moods, and an evil spirit tormented him. Worse still, Samuel no longer visited him at his palace. One of Saul's attendants thought that soothing harp music might calm the king. David was sent for, and whenever he played the harp for Saul, the king became calmer and happier. Once the king felt better, David planned to return home. But then there came some worrying news. The battle with the Philistines was not going well. The Philistines had a champion, a huge and fierce warrior called Goliath. He was about 10 feet tall and much stronger than any ox. Goliath strutted up and down, challenging the Israelites to fight. Where is the champion of Israel? He shouted, sending him to fight me. If he kills me, we will be your slaves. If I kill him, you will be ours. No one stepped forward to take up Goliath's challenge. They were all too scared. One day, when David was taking food to his brothers in the army, he heard Goliath's taunts. "Who is he to challenge the army of the living God?" asked David. "I will fight him." Saul heard of David's offer and sent for him. I have to fight lions and bears to keep my father's sheep safe," David told. "If God can protect me from wild animals, he will protect me now." At last, Saul agreed to David's request. He gave him his own armor and sword, but it was too heavy for David. I will fight him with what I am used to," David said. He took off the armor and picked up his sling and set off to meet Goliath. When Goliath saw David coming towards him, he laughed. "What sort of champion is this?" he sneered. "I come in the name of God of Israel," replied David. He is a stronger champion than you." David took a stone from his bag, placed it into a sling, and took aim. The stone hurtled towards Goliath. It struck him in the forehead and broke his skull. Goliath fell down dead. The Philistines were afraid and ran into the hills, and the Israelites had won. After the victory, the Israelites were very happy, but Saul was jealous. He could see that everyone loved David. Saul sat in his palace thinking of ways he could harm David. The